Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. This is New Release Rundown again. This week we are joined by Amanda from Blue Highway Games. You want to tell us about Blue Highway?
Yeah, sure. We are a store up on Queen Anne in Seattle, just right behind the Space Needle if you're visiting from out of town. And we are open late Friday, Saturdays for a lot of game nights. Friday nights is our big game night. Starts right at 7. It's the best way to guarantee kind of getting a seat at the at a table and finding a game to play. Specific events coming up in the next week or so. We are part of the Pop-Up Gen Con. We're one of the official hosts. And that will be on August 3rd, running from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And also the AEG Big Game Night remote location. So we're going to have the 3 AEG plus the Smash Up, which I didn't bring here today, but for demo from 7 to 11 on August 2nd.
Great.
Yeah.
So you brought a selection of games, and some of these actually I think are releasing next week.
Yeah.
And some are releasing this week, but we won't have a new release rundown next week because we're going to be more than neck deep in Gen Con.
Right, yeah.
So we're going to cover a whole kind of wealth of games, but where would you like to start?
Let's start over on this side, maybe with periodic.
Yes. This is actually something I was intrigued by because I saw it pop up, but I don't know anything about it other than periodic table.
Yeah, so it's from Genius Games, and they are definitely aiming at a more educational audience, but that don't get scared. That always makes me a little nervous when it's an educational game. This is not an educational game. It's a strategy game that has real knowledge in it. It's an actual periodic table.
Straight up legit periodic table.
Yep. And it's a very tactical game. So
spite level. We did warn you about the spite level.
You did.
You said tactical.
I don't think it's overly spiteful. Okay. No. I think
minor
this is
spite.
A mid-level kind of friendly game.
Intro spite.
Definitely aiming at families, but also gamers. The tactical level is pretty neat. You're going to be trying to achieve, I don't know how much you can see that, working your way, your token, to get to these actual elements on the periodic table to score some points. The movement is determined kind of down here on the bottom of the board, whether you're going to be moving down and to the left, or down and to the right, or up and to the left, or just straight back and forth, moving around the board, trying to end up on those locations of the point cards that are kind of up at the top, and also strategically trying to leave yourself in strategic locations at the end of your turn, because there's a secondary card track that kind of goes around the side of the board on some of these cards that help push you up into these kind of bonus point areas here.
So you're trying to form like actual elemental combos for things.
For things, some of them are like, table salt here and steel, but some of them are like
I picked some pretty
things that are like liquids at room temperature, or other little informational bits that you get in the game. The pieces are
little
beakers, microscopes, and you're spending, I believe, energy to do some things.
I'm assuming these must be molecules.
Yep, and those are kind of get placed out where they're on the cards that need to be scored, so you kind of have a target of where you need to go, and you're trying to get there before your opponents. Now, I don't know if you played Roll for It.
Yes, I think so.
Just the slight element there where you can put in Roll for It, you put your dice out, but the person who puts all the dice out first gets to take the card, and whoever was working on that gets a little bit of a kickback, a bonus.
Okay, consolation prize.
So with these, I might have found my way to arsenic, and you find your way to all 3 of those before me. I would get some bonus points for having tried to go there, but you get, of course, the full point card, which is kind of neat. And so it's, I guess it's a little spiteful, not overly mean.
So it seems like the periodic table is basically the map,
the
board
it's the
upon which you
actual
play.
board, yeah.
Okay.
It's not just like a reference sheet or something like that. You're actually using it. And so it's not overly educational, but you will learn some things as you play the
I think that's a good way to have a lot of educational games, is that it's not memorize the periodic table, it's play around next to it, and then you'll end up learning stuff by osmosis.
Correct, yep.
Awesome.
So I think it's fantastic. It's brand new in our shop. We just got it in.
Somebody in chat was just saying that they want to recommend it to a friend of theirs that is a teacher, a science teacher.
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to have a lot of legs that way, but also just excited to play it as a strategy game.
So you mentioned, like, so what games would you say the gameplay is similar to? You mentioned Roll for the Galaxy, but Roll for the Galaxy is a very
Roll for It.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A little bit simpler.
I'm sorry. So Roll for It. But what other games do you think have some of the same like feel of play, even if they're not science themed?
No, it's tactical movement. So of course I'm drawing a complete blank. Like Tash Kalar, not really, but it had like the grid, and you had to move to certain places on the grid to achieve some goals. This is more about directions that you can move on the periodic table, not so much like a specific card grid that will show you a pattern of which you can move. So it's different, but it's still tactical in that sense. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, so I mean, players who are into science themes.
Yes.
Players who, well, I guess, so other than people who would be really into science theme, which in my case would just be me, who else would you recommend this to?
I would recommend it to people looking for more of a gateway game.
Okay. So overall, you think it's pretty simple and straightforward?
Simple and straightforward. It's not as simple as Azul, but I would say it's on par with like Ticket to Ride or something like that. It's not overly in-depth.
What about like Century, Spice Road, things like that? Splendor? I think it's a little, like a step beyond that?
I think it's a step beyond that, and I think with the board and the maneuvering, it has a little bit extra layer to it. Less of cards that you're looking at in your hand, more spatial relation out on the board.
Well, so, I mean, again, any periodic table nut, which there are definitely those out there. If
you liked Compounded.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That was another one. That was a little more complex, but you thought maybe that was too complex for your family. This would be a much more approachable than Compounded. But
so if you're a fan of the periodic table, if you are looking for some, like the next step in kind of a game past Splendor, Century Spice Road, Azul, or you're the kind of kid who needs to convince your parents that the game has value beyond playing it, then this is a good game.
I think so.
Great. Yeah, like I had seen this pop up. I'm not sure where. It may have been a Kickstarter, but I was very intrigued by it. But I didn't have enough details to kind of dive in. So now that you say that it's pretty simple and straightforward, I'm really curious about it.
Yeah,
I want to give it a shot.
It's about an hour, maybe a little less.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great.
What's next?
Let's do Getaway Driver, another one that's on the far end there. Take a whole switch. This is probably the most spiteful game I brought.
Okay. Maximum Spite.
Now, this is a two-player game. It came out on Kickstarter, I believe, in like 2016. Maybe not quite that long ago, maybe last year. But it's a two-player, mostly. I believe there are rules for a variant to play solo or with 4 players. I've not explored that at all. So I'll speak mostly as a two-player. And it's asymmetrical. You may recognize some of the art from the other asymmetrical game, Fugitive.
I was about to say, like, this reminds me of Fugitive.
This is...
Fugitive's real good.
It is. And this is the same artist. And I believe the designer also worked on Fugitive. It's not Tim Fowler's official. It's Uproarious Games as Getaway Driver, but I got it through Tim Fowler's ordering. So
there's at least an acknowledgement.
There's definitely an overlap here, design and art, Burgle Bros, that sort of thing. And with this one person is playing the police, and the other person is playing the driver of the getaway car. And it's a real space game, so you're actually using your table, kind of like Wings of War.
Oh, okay.
Not quite as measured out, but the space on your table is where you can go with your tiles.
Sure.
And so the cards that you see here, there's a deck for the police officer, and then there's a deck for the driver.
Okay, those look like action cards, basically?
And they are, the police ones are more things they can bring out into the game. Most of the pieces belong to the police officer. The getaway driver, at the start of each game, will choose 5, and only 5 cards that they're going to get to use this game. The rest just kind of go away. It starts out on a start tile. And the goal of the game is for the driver to survive all the tiles in the bag, and I guess I could dump them out. There's quite a few of them. Maybe that'll make a mess. But there's a lot of tiles that the driver has to survive their way through to get to the escape
Escape the town?
Escape the town. The police officer can win if they are managing to pursue the driver over 4 turns.
Okay.
The tiles are chosen by the police officer, and they're going to place those out kind of in front of the driver, face down. So the driver doesn't really know what's coming up and what's ahead of them.
Okay.
So if this was our mid-game action,
sure.
the driver would then have to choose one of these tiles to go on. They can't just make an about-face U-turn, but they can turn to the right, to the left, or go straight. And they are allowed to kind of peek at tiles, but that's going to affect their pursuit meter. It's going to make it closer to the end of their run.
Sure.
But otherwise, they're just going to recklessly drive into some new territory.
That sounds like what a getaway driver would do.
Exactly, and find out what happens. Sometimes there's going to be hazards that are going to be there for the driver, which is things they can mitigate on their cards. Sometimes it's going to be ways that they can drop hazards and combat them. And the reason they want to do that is they can combat them with their cards, but the police officers running into hazards with their cars just blow up.
Okay.
And some of the actions that they can do are like they're going to, improvise a ramp and fly over the train and zoom around all the people on 2 wheels or drive through a back alley maneuver. And
action movie
it's
stuff.
Definitely
great.
Hands-on action movie, asymmetrical. It's great.
Okay. Awesome. So, because Fugitive was a really, really exciting game of deduction. It was very methodical, very detailed. It was very thought.
Yeah.
This seems to be much more kind of crazy action.
Yeah. No, this is crazy action, silly fun. You kind of want to get into.
It's got stickers.
Sending the helicopter.
Wait, hold on. There's a whole hidden realm of. You hid this on me?
Well, it's true. These are some variants that you can add into your game, such as the trees that you'll have to build around your getaway area, a pond, some mountainous terrain.
Sure. Hide the exciting stuff under the stickers.
Yes.
But you have all these little
car these little cars. As the police officer, you can engage a motorcycle to go faster. You can have a helicopter that flies over all the hazards. It's all going to cost you certain things. Your money are these police badges, which you earn when the getaway driver drives into certain tiles, offering up those police payment police badges.
It's wanted level.
But it's not nearly as methodical or tense even as Fugitive. It's a little more reckless endangerment.
This
Flip over tiles. What's on this other tile? What am I going to run into now? A farmer's market. Don't run over all the people.
Okay.
So that's always a good thing.
Running over people in the farmer's market
or not?
No, not? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So how long does this play? Do you know?
It probably under an hour. Once you know. I will say one thing, the rulebook is not great, but they at the very beginning of the rulebook are like, please watch this video. Just watch the video.
Okay. All right.
It's a great video.
A lot more games seem to be doing that, of really just go watch our video, we do it better there.
It's fantastic, yeah. So.
Okay, cool. So would you recommend this to people who really liked Fugitive? Or is this so different that it's really only the theme that's similar?
No, I think asymmetrical 2 players definitely add something like Mr. Jack or...
I really do love asymmetrical games.
Just when you're having one person does one thing, another person does another, I think it's neat. I think there's always room for more 2-player specific games. I just think even on a game night where you have lots of people, you might have uneven tables, you need to go have another 2-player game. This one has a little more meat on it, not overly long, so it wouldn't run into other games, but you could kind of use it as a quick little fun filler.
Very cool. All right, well, let me just pack this up.
All those bits.
Little tiny bits here and there.
Almost too many for the box.
We'll figure that out. What game are we going to cover next?
Let's do a bubble tea.
Bubble tea.
That's a...
So based on our discussion earlier on Table Takes, this should be maximum spite because this is a murder game where you invite your friends over to stab them over boba. Is that accurate?
No.
No?
But I think that game needs to be made. This is a spiteful...
Okay, so hold on.
Yes.
Confirmed.
Yes.
Dog. Cat. So...
And
I mean, this feels more like like an alcohol shaker to me?
A little bit. I think you could make bubble tea in there, mix it up, get it frothy, put your boba in. I don't know. They have machines usually at bubble tea parlors.
Clearly, I don't get bubble tea.
It is the dice shaker, which is very loud. I don't know how bad sound is on here. If you want to shake that, it's.
All right, if you got headphones on, warning. Wow, holy crap, that is loud.
It's really loud.
I did not think that was going to happen.
It's a good warning. Good warning.
Apparently not enough. I think I heard it through the headphones over here.
And there are 2 ways to play the game. You don't have to play with the dice. And you could always use a different dice shaker, but I think that's pretty fun. There's also the cards version. So it's dice or cards. These are backgrounds. Everybody's going to get, I don't know if you can see them, but the different backgrounds given out to them. And these see-through cards, a la Gloom or that kind of thing, which will be a little hard to see.
What was the first game? Wizards put it out. It was started with an H or something like that. It had 7-sided cards that were see-through that you built your horrible monsters out of. It was about like bringing these horrible demons back from the grave to form.
I don't know.
Somebody must know that. It was like the first game I saw that had the overlay cards. Entirely different theme, but really makes me think that we're summoning demons from bubble tea. So it sounds like you are trying to lay these on here?
Yes. So you have your own set. So you're not stabbing anyone to try to grab the right card. You have your own nice numbers 1 through 9. You'll have all the symbols.
All right. I hope the chat can see
they're
how
really
cute this is going to get.
Really cute.
Because clearly this means that you are taking cute cats and weird caterpillar things.
Jelly bean or maybe that's the boba.
And then this is a chocolate coffee dog that you're murdering to make your boba tea.
Little smiling ice cubes.
Yep.
Chocolate. Yeah, so you use your cards to overlap to try to make what's on the cards. But they can be in any, they don't have to be in that exact pattern, but they can only show those symbols. No other symbols can be showing. It can't be sticking off of the symbols can't be sticking off of your card.
So I just played this illegally?
Yes. Yeah, but this is good. That's fine. And you're racing to complete these. And they have different valued points. So this is a value 1. Mm-hmm. At the start of each round, everybody chooses a card from their hand that they're going to compete for, and the person who achieves it first gets to keep those points. And 1s are easier than 4, but you would only get 1 point.
Sure.
And the thing with your hand is you are going to pass it on to the next player.
Okay.
So you'll draft it. So you might not want to pass on a 4 to the opponent who you think is really good, because they're going to be able to find and get the pattern faster than you.
So you said you could use the cards or the dice?
Yeah, so that's the card version where you're drafting the cards, passing them around, getting the points. The little more manic version is you shake up the dice shaker, you roll it out, I don't know, I hope you can see this, and then you have 1 die that determines the card that you would be building it on. And it has to be in the correct one, the green tea, the black tea, the milk tea. And then the rest of these symbols just have to be on your card. In any way. And some of them are harder than some of the card versions. It's just trickier depending on what rolls. But you're just racing for that, and then you're going to take a card for points, just like a single card. And
I think that is my favorite one so far. Angry Fisherman Cat.
And I really like that they put the English, the Taiwanese, and then Japanese pronunciations on the cards, so you can educate and learn a little more as you play.
Wow.
So bubble tea.
Very cute. And you're coming down officially, no spite.
I mean, you're racing. It's puzzly, so I'm not as good.
But you're not competing for the same resources or anything like that?
Not in the versions I played. I didn't play if there's a third version.
Maybe you need to play Bonsai's variant theme?
Yes.
Where it involves kidnapping and murdering people.
I think so, and maybe blending the kittens in the
Well,
blender.
She apparently hasn't played Kittens in the Blender.
Classic.
Those went in there, I think.
I think so.
Yes.
And that is out now from Renegade Games.
Okay.
So I think we're having, it's been very popular. Some stock issues.
It's
Keep
very
ordering it
cute.
back in. Great. Yes.
All right.
Well-designed box.
What next?
Draftosaurus, speaking of...
Hecatomb, yes. Someone got it right. Hecatomb.
I have not played.
It was a weird game. It was a weird time.
It sounds good though, like hex cards, see-through.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
I think they were 7-sided.
That's weird.
And so they were weird. It was very weird. You should check it out.
That's
it's
great.
probably you could get the entire set for like $10 on eBay.
Well, we sell used games at Blue Highway, and I will keep my eye out, hoping someone brings one of those in.
What's next?
Draftosaurus. Since we're speaking of overly popular games that have just come out, if you haven't seen this yet, I can't wait for you to open the box and the bag. You should open the bag because it's the best part.
Okay, so we have
some boards, some player boards.
We got a wooden cube, and then we've got a bunch of dinosaur meeples.
Dinosaur meeples.
Oh my god!
And they are the best.
No wonder this is
bag
doing well.
of yes, and they're rainbow-colored dinosaurs. Dino meeples.
Like I feel like I just emptied a breakfast cereal into this bowl. They're still going. I'm still finding new ones here, people.
You got the T-Rex.
No, the T-Rex. Oh, did I?
You got the Stegosaurus. That's the T-Rex. There you go. He's a Stegosaurus. No, I don't know what that is. That's.
It's an ankylosaurus standing on its hind. They don't do that. What? Historically inaccurate dinosaurs in my breakfast cereal game? No, he's just he is Koopa. He's just hanging out. Yeah.
I thought it was like that turtle-looking one with the little spiky tail.
Yeah, but that's the ankylosaurus. He's on all fours.
Maybe he's fighting a T-Rex.
Yeah, but he didn't have the hit. Anyway. Anyway, it's real cute.
Yes, and the best part is it's called Draftosaurus. So you're drafting.
I could not have predicted
dinosaurs. You actually take a handful of dinosaurs. You're going to choose one dinosaur to add to your dino zoo.
Sure.
And
your non-infringing theme park with dinosaurs?
It's true. I will say, as a person from Calgary, Alberta, we had an entire section of our zoo devoted to dinosaurs.
Okay.
They were statues, obviously, but a very large piece of land in the zoo devoted to dinosaurs. So it could be a thing unrelated to the copyright infringement.
Okay.
And you're going to choose the different enclosures that they go in. So some of them you're going to have all the same dinosaurs. Sure. Some of them you want none of the same dinosaurs. All the T-Rexes you put in your park, just going to give you some little points.
Obviously.
T-Rex, obviously. Any dinosaurs you can't fit, you just get to throw in the river. Because of course you do. They just hang out in the river. They get you a point.
Okay, so they don't drown.
No.
Okay, they're just free-ranging.
They're loose.
Oh, so they're the happiest dinosaurs, is what you're telling me.
T-Rex living out with the.
I don't think he's going to live with them happy. They're not going to be happy about it.
But the die determines where you can place things. So the person whose turn it is will roll that, and everyone else has to obey those rules. On the board, there's a side of the board that has a restroom.
So we get to put dinosaurs in the restroom?
No, just on the side of the board with the restroom.
Oh, okay. I thought this was like maybe dinosaurs are now infesting the bathroom.
Maybe the T-Rex scares you, so you want to have it near the bathroom, so you can.
I mean,
in case you pee your
we did see Jurassic Park. We do know what happens when you go to the bathroom near a T-Rex. It doesn't end well for you.
That's the variant that you can play. We'll add it on, little expansion.
That's the spite level?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the spite level is what you draft, so no more spiteful than.
Well, so this seems like it's a drafting game, but completely like personal tableau building.
Correct.
So I'm not going to be able to send my T-Rex to screw with your T-Rex.
The only thing is they have one that you can place in there, and if you have more of those than anyone else, you get extra points. And yes, you can be spiteful and start to collect what people put in that place and stop them.
This sounds like this might be a good game for folks who kind of like the build your own stuff games, like Baron Park or stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And dinosaurs.
Okay. And so if you like dinosaurs, if you like drafting, or if you like quietly build your own tableau and don't have it messed with the other stupid players, then this is your game.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have a feeling that we either won people over with the cereal bag full of dinosaur meeples, or did not.
You'll probably need to, Is that louder than the boba? I don't know.
No, definitely not louder than the boba.
Fantastic.
Very cute.
Yeah. And
well, so it's just drafting, right? So it's not very complicated at all.
Not very complicated
other than
at all.
figuring out how much things are worth.
No, it's from and Comma Games. Design team quite extensive. They probably have more games under their belt than anyone. It's like Antoine Bauza. The list goes on. Great. How about Copenhagen? Let's move across the table. So this is taking it back a bit. This is more of the abstract Azul family of games. You're going to be trying to build your, I guess it's an office building.
Well, we went from dinosaurs to office buildings, so
maybe.
this game better really be great.
It is got lots of cute windows, and if you haven't seen the deluxe version, which I did not bring today, these building tile pieces on the deluxe version are actually see-through windows.
Oh, funky.
Yeah, it's not this version, but this is still really cool. It's a card game.
Okay. So, I mean, my first impression is it looks like we have a board. It looks like we have little puzzle pieces. Yep. This strikes me as like almost like a patchworky Tetris-y kind of thing.
It is going to be in that family of ever so popular Tetris games right now. But I like it. If you've liked Ariel, or however you say Ariel.
What is this supposed to be?
Buoy? I don't know.
Well,
it is
scoring markers. Thank you for.
Oh, it looks like a person there.
I know, but like, is it a person sitting on a fish?
Oh, that's the Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen. See her little tail? It's the Little Mermaid.
Great. Okay, it is a person sitting in a fish.
As a fish.
Yep. Okay.
Of course it is.
We've figured out the truth of this.
Because it's Copenhagen. So it's very thematic.
Okay. Yep.
This is the board where the cards are going to go. They're going to be, of course, shuffled and splayed out by color. You're going to be able to choose cards that are next to each other.
Okay.
So not just willy-nilly.
Okay.
You take those cards, you collect them until you have enough to turn them into the little tiles.
Okay.
So these would cost 3 yellow cards.
Okay, so it's like one per section
square.
of the tile. Okay.
The windows don't matter for that, but
That's
they're going to give you...
They're starting to remind me of Ticket to Ride.
Yeah. Like collect your cards, turn them in. But you're going to fill up your board, and it has to be built a little bit like Tetris. They have to rest on it. It can be balanced in funky ways, but you're never going to place something like adjacent that's not resting, but that's fine.
Okay.
Or on the bottom, of course. And you're ultimately trying to make rows or columns. The rows are going to get you a point. If they're all windows, 2 points.
Does it need to be the same color or anything
like
that?
Just filled up.
Okay.
So it can be colorful. You do get payment bonuses if you connect similar colors. So if I put a green on a green, I can pay a less card.
Okay.
So there's reasons you might want to do certain colors, but the cards let you know what shapes they're in. So the purple is very straight lines, and the blue's a little more funky. Green's very twisty. So there's reasons you want different colors. And the little seals on the board, when you cover those up, you're going to be able to take bonus actions, which allow you to break rules. Okay. So you could take cards from different parts of the board.
Bonus actions are these tiles here?
Yep. And you can play an extra card, or you get an extra card, or this card can act as any wild color.
This one looks like it's like take 2 tiles from the
from different places instead of next to each other. So you break some rules. And then when you cover that up, you could also choose to flip back over the bonus tiles that you've already earned, reusing them, which I thought was kind of neat when you'd want to do that and when you'd want to spend a new one.
Cool. So again, like patchwork, Ariel.
Yeah.
What other kind of current Tetris-y games do you think that this is like, and how is it different from those?
Well, Bricks is the new roll and write Tetris that's out. I believe it's Wolfgang Barsch. And that one is, of course, very directly Tetris. I think this adds just that extra little layer. You are collecting colored cards like Ticket to Ride, but you're trying to fill up your board like Tetris, but you don't necessarily have to fill all the rows. Getting columns is actually better for you, unlike Tetris where it would fill up. And you can go back and place underneath, so it doesn't have that same falling mechanic like in regular Tetris. So just the next level, a little bit different, getting closer to something like Azul or I guess Patchwork. But that's a little more, you have to fill the space. This one, you want to make rows and columns to get points, but you also want to cover up these things to be able to do that. And you're trying to race to get 12 points, so it's also like a push yourself towards points.
Is this just supposed to be like The dock, like Copenhagen?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And of course, Little Mermaid statue.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the Little Mermaid statue.
And we knew that's
what else
those
could it
were.
possibly be?
No idea.
Buoys. Who would think it's buoys?
In a harbor.
Not us. Definitely not us.
The design team on this, I believe, is coming out with Deep Blue, the new Days of Wonder game.
Oh, cool.
So I'm kind of excited to see what that's like, because I like this.
Great. So if you like Tetris games, if you like straightforward kind of ticket to ride action selection, Copenhagen sounds like a good bet.
For sure.
And so all of these games that we just talked about are out now. So you could go to your local gaming store and pick them up.
Correct.
And the games we're about to talk about are all coming out next weekend.
Correct.
Okay.
Let's start with Hadara.
Okay.
This is from Z-Man Games.
I know a lot of people are excited about this for Gen Con.
Yeah. It was one I got to have a preview with at Origins, and was very excited when Asmodee sent us.
I noticed it has a picture on how to use a storage insert that you do not have.
When we have our library games at our store that will never get put back into that delicate insert, we choose to remove inserts and put them in plastic bags.
But it does come in the normal version.
It does come in the normal version, and this is just our store's demo copy. So
just because you can't trust people to do it properly.
I of course trust all my customers, but just in case when they put it vertically and they fall out, I don't have to blame anyone. So.
Okay.
Just
because like good storage solutions are a thing that I really appreciate.
It is a good storage solution. It has great detailed instructions on how to store it, just not in our public library.
Just not one that people follow.
And our library, you don't check out games; they're just on a shelf,
okay.
So people can just grab, and we don't. They'll bring them to us if there's problems, but.
Scott, Amanda, Matt, and Ross.
Yeah, I don't think we should see the scores there on the.
No, you don't think so?
It may or may not be a me. I totally won. That is the player board.
Okay.
And you're gonna.
The player board or the board?
The board.
Okay.
And.
So I'm building a thing here.
You are, and you're gonna store cards on it, and then you're gonna have your own player boards in front of you, separate.
Aha!
Yeah.
Different society, like civilizations.
Well, it's going to be who you are, because that is on this wheel here, and that's really just your player identity. And
so it doesn't look like they're necessarily tied to anything. They're just kind of
It's tied to this wheel.
Okay.
Because the game board that you have determines what pile you can draw cards from.
Okay.
When your symbol is facing it on the wheel.
Okay.
When somebody starts each round, they're going to determine where this starts. So it's not going to necessarily be in player order that you're drawing cards from the table. It's by the symbols on your board and the symbols on the wheel.
Okay.
So I might be drawing blue, but you're drawing green, even though we're moving in this direction. So there's cards that are going to be placed out on each of these piles, certain number depending on the number of players. There's 3 ages, so you're going to, a la 7 Wonders, you're going to get a few crossover things with 7 Wonders.
I already see a whole bunch of tiny little chits that have 1 laurels. So clearly those are victory points. Board games have taught me that.
It's true. And you're going to use your cards to build your tableau under your player board, advancing your markers onto the different tracks. And
different like society tracks, looks like.
And there's like +10s, you have lots of them. You're going to be going and lapping that several times over. Those are the for your personal player boards. There's money, there's military, there's statues, and there's food. You got to feed your people.
So what my initial thought here, I was assuming there was like dice or something put in there, but it doesn't appear to be.
It is those
What are you sticking in here?
Chips that you had with the victory points on the back.
Oh, okay.
So everybody has a complete set of 2 of each color.
Oh, it's there just to be able to pull them back out.
Yes, and they're variable, so each time you play them, it could be different. The object of the game is to get the most points, and you do that in a variety of ways, but to advance on these tracks, to build the statues, to develop the medals, you're going to need to collect the right cards.
So does that mean that, like these red cards here are presumably going to be the military cards?
Yeah, they have red on them frequently, but they'll also have other colors of tracks that you're going to move up. And the front of the cards have your benefit on the top, your cost, and victory points on the bottom.
Okay. So then is this stack of red cards just in the kind of the red area? And
right.
When is it the lion, it looks like?
If you're the lion,
yep, then you can take from the red.
And it's a simultaneous action, so like Seven Wonders, you're not waiting around. Everybody's going to draw. You're going to draw 2 cards. You choose one. You can throw it away to get money, or you can buy it, but you have to pay the cost on the bottom of the card and add it to your tableau.
Okay.
For every color card that you have of that same color already in your tableau, it will give you a discount all the way down to $0.
Okay. So then you would just kind of like stack like this?
Yeah, and once you've bought them, unless it's purple, which are some of the weird endgame cards, as they usually are, you generally just need to see the top. Okay. And that just helps remind you how far along your track you're supposed to be.
Do you shuffle all of these, or are they shuffled?
There's level 1, and then round 2, and then round 3.
Okay.
And you will remove some depending on the number of players. It'll be equal. But what kind of makes it neat is you're taking cards, everyone's taking cards, you're playing them on your tableau, you're advancing your civilization, but then you're going to get some income, be able to build some statues, which could be some points or extra benefits.
Oh, so these are the statues. Got it. Okay.
And then after you do that, all the cards that have been discarded, because you take one, discard one, you're going to have a round where you are choosing from the discard piles.
Okay.
And you're choosing off the top, but from any place not determined by the wheel.
Okay.
And you can then sell those, get some money, or buy them and add them to your tableau.
Okay.
So it's not just a direct, you get one color each round, you then can choose and kind of pick through the colors.
So there is a very light almost drafting-esque element in
Correct.
that I draw 2, I'm not picking one and then immediately handing you the other, but I am picking one and putting the other one out.
Correct.
Meaning that another player, if they wanted to, could use that in some capacity.
During the second round, someone will pick up that card in the second round. And whether they sell it or keep it, that's on them. But yeah, it was neat. It's only about 40 minutes. It had a decent amount of depth to it. There's, I think there are colonies that you're buying to get extra points. If you looked at that score sheet that we played, I failed to buy most of these. Do not do that. Buy some colonies, get some.
So pro tip, buy
points.
colonies.
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like that this would be a pretty good fit if you thought that the drafting maybe gave you too many options in Seven Wonders. It seems like it's a streamlined, narrower Seven Wonders kind of feel.
Yeah, very narrow.
Okay. What rotates this?
It automatically rotates once you've started each round.
Okay.
It is only determined once at the start of the round by whoever the start player is. Would say, I want to go here first. Everyone else goes in that order.
Okay.
And then after we draw, once we've placed or bought, it rotates.
So,
we go through the whole deck.
So it will be predictable. You'll know that you will only be able to get so many of... Like, you'll know in like 3 turns that if I'm drawing here, in 3 turns, I'll be drawing there.
Right.
Okay.
And at that point, you just are going around the circle.
Are just planning ahead. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. It sounds pretty straightforward, but it seems, again, like it strikes me as a very Seven Wonders focused.
Right. And I believe the release date is August 1st, so hopefully that holds true. I'm sure they'll have it at Gen Con, and yeah, it's great.
Cool. And so you played it last night, you said?
No, a couple nights ago with 4 players.
Okay. And it worked out real well at 4 players, you think?
Yes. The demo I had during Origins was a one of the 3 ages round with 2 players, and I thought it was still interesting. I was still making choices.
Okay. So you think it scales for a number of players pretty well?
I think so. I've played a full game, but I think it would.
Cool.
And I like that it's simultaneous so that it doesn't bog down. It's not pretty... It's pretty quick.
That's one of the things that I really do love about Seven Wonders is that there's a lot of parts of Seven Wonders that aren't super simple.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are doing them all at the same time makes up for a lot of that.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, the next 3 games, last 3 that we have here, are the 3 kind of main new games, not expansions, from AEG Big Game Night, which is at Gen Con next week, but we are doing it at Blue Highway next Friday night. So let's start here with Curios.
Okay. I don't think that this lid is going to stand up by itself.
Probably not. No. I can hold it for you. You want to dig through the box there?
Hold it. Hey, there's a little lantern.
And this is probably... I would say a family game, ages 10 plus, because there's some hidden information in this game. So you don't want to play with too young, they're going to give away. They say 14 and up. I mean, of course, it's for gamers and families as well. But with this game, there's going to be some archaeological sites.
Sure.
And you're going to flip these over.
So it looks like we have like Greece, Egypt, destruction, China, looks like, and just ships at sea.
Yeah, the Lost Shipwreck.
Okay.
And each of these, this is like
I
one
did it
of
once,
the,
I can do it again.
No, then I'll knock it over again.
The cycle must repeat.
Making me nervous. So tense. Now I can't move.
Okay.
Very carefully. This is the first player marker.
Yep.
And you're going to have some pawns of your color.
Okay.
And you're going to have some information in your hand about what cards are not at each of these locations.
Okay. So some cards are going to be in your hand. Some cards are going to be at each location.
And you are trying to place out your pawns to collect the gems for each location, hoping at the end of the game that it is the more valuable location.
Okay.
But if I have the 7, which is the most valuable of the yellow in my hand, I probably don't want to go on here because I know this card cannot possibly be a 7. It might be a 5, it might be a 3.
So let me see these cards real quick. So there's what,
1, 3, 5, 7
okay.
for each location.
And you basically would take all of the desert cards.
It's no, they're shuffled all together.
Okay.
Well, yes, you take all the desert cards, place one at the desert.
Yep. Okay, that's what I was trying to
start the game. Yep.
Got it.
So each one will have its proper color.
Okay.
But then they're shuffled all together, dealt out depending on the number of players, and now I know, oh, I don't want to go here because I have the 7 and the 5 of yellow.
So we just put the 3 there. So we know that the 7's out somewhere. So let's say that I have the 7.
Yeah.
You have the 1. And now we're just, placing our pawns there. Okay. So then, and ultimately, if that comes out to be a 3, what does that?
All the yellow gems you've collected throughout the whole game are worth 3 points apiece.
Okay. And do you collect a yellow gem each time you put a pawn down?
So the way that works is there's rows from left to right. It starts out with a single space, 2 spaces, and then 3 spaces, and 4, and then 4.
Okay.
The first person to go there gets to place 1 pawn
Okay.
and take 1 gem.
Okay.
The next person has to place 2 pawns and take 1 gem.
Okay.
The next person has to place 3 pawns and take 1 gem.
Okay.
So if I go here really excitedly, you're like, okay, she's holding the 7. You might not go there because you're holding the 7 and don't want to. But maybe you don't know, and you're like, oh, she went there right away. I should probably go there and try to get a yellow gem.
Sure. But once somebody has put down the section for the 2, can anybody else take that over?
No. So they're going to stay out there for this round.
Okay.
Once we're done putting out our pawns, the round will end. Whoever has the majority on the tile gets an extra bonus.
Okay.
And so with my 1, I got 1 tile, but with your 2, if we're the only 2 people to go there, you get an extra tile.
Got it.
You had to do a little more work.
Or extra gem, you mean?
Gem, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Cool.
Words are important. The other thing that makes it just a little more interesting is at the end of each phase, you can choose to reveal to the group one of your cards.
Okay.
If you do so, you're going to get an extra pawn, which will help you in future rounds because you'll have more to place to be able to take more gems. But you might not want to because you don't want to let them know you have the 7 and they're all fighting over it and you think that's funny.
Sure. But if they're not fighting over it,
you might want to reveal it just because they already assume it's not anything. And
or having like a 3 may not be a big deal.
Right. Go have the 3.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a very quick, kind of simple little, definitely filler, end of the night.
Well, I mean, yeah, like a little bit of hidden information,
Yep.
but it seems pretty accessible.
Oh yeah, very.
Okay.
So,
and we did knock this over again.
Hey, good for us.
So this is again coming out next weekend.
Next week we'll have it
part of AEG's Big Game Night.
Yeah, I don't think the actual full retail, like I don't think you could buy it at big box stores then, but a lot of stores are participating in this AEG Big Game Night, and we can order them for that.
Okay.
So for sale.
What else do we have?
Let's do a couple more. Walking in Burano.
Okay. I think, actually, when you sent the list over, both Boba Tea and Walking in Burano had come out in Japan a couple of years ago.
Taiwan and Japan, Asia. Bubble Tea was, I believe, Asa Chen designed, and this was Emperor S4, came out at Essen last year. And we imported a few copies to Blue Highway, but now AEG is releasing it here in the States for wide release, which is
so this
great.
is basically the first native English release.
Correct. Yep. And it's a card game, which would take a lot to set up. So maybe just kind of show some cards here.
Well, it's got not a meeple, but a cat standee.
It's also a wonderful first player marker.
Okay.
So you're going to kind of create a tableau of there's bottom floor, middle floor, and top floor of houses, different colored houses in Verano.
This seems like a calm, placid, stress-relieving, wholesome game.
It's a little more thinky than you would suspect. It's got quite a few level of rules. I would say of the AEG games for their big game night, it's their most complex.
Okay. Because it seems very Ghibli to me.
It's very pretty. I think it looks gorgeous on a table. It's like
so. This looks like this is street level.
Yes.
And then that would make this mid-level.
Correct.
Oop,
and that's going to be built on your tableau in front of you, above the street level. And then
I think there's a particular rooftop that I think chat will enjoy. Oh, there's one. That's a different cat. We'll go with that.
Oh, yeah. And you're going to be building houses. Now, typically your house, you're going to want to be all the same color.
So I did a bad job there.
That's true. You can actually break that rule in the game by paying some points, but you might not want to do that unless you actually just really want to get that card down.
I really wanted to get that card down.
But what you're trying to do is collect things that are in the pictures on the cards. So those cute cats are not just cute. You want to build a house full of cats and then get the cat scoring card to go with that column.
My wife agrees with that plan.
Yeah, it's a fantastic plan. I love the cats. There's flowers, there's plants, there's window sconces, there's
kind of
curtains.
reminds me of the Daniel Salas game, building the cute adorable tree. It's in 3D now.
Kodama?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's got some shades of that. There's like you're looking for things in the pictures.
You're trying to build sets, basically.
It's not hidden, but
sure.
Yeah, and the card selection mechanic is kind of interesting. They're going to be out on the table. You're going to kind of take from the top or the bottom, and you can take more. The less that you take, you get some money. You need the money to be able to build the places on the table. I thought it had some neat depth to it. Once you learn it, it's not hard or long, but a learning curve was a little steeper than their other ones for this.
So not necessarily like an immediate entry game to hobby games, but not super complex once you kind of get the initial curve.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Takes a good play, and then you're like, oh, now I know what I need to do.
Got it.
And you're good to go.
So, but this also seems to be another where you're kind of building your own tableau.
Yep.
So not a thing where you can mess with other people.
Theme here. Only in taking the cards out here that they want, as well as the tourists that visit your town, the point cards that get ways for you to score.
Okay.
They're limited. So I see you building that lovely building full of flowers. I may take your flower scoring card for my fewer flowers just because I can. So if you want to play that way, plenty of spite.
Opportunity spite, but not direct spite.
No. I think I brought some very peaceful games this time.
Low spite.
All right, one more.
One more.
And we have point salad.
What's this one about?
Vegetables. Murdering vegetables.
Apparently, actually, I guess that was our determination.
Yeah.
It's the vegetable murder game. No, it's the vegetable murder game with math.
I mean, you are consuming them in the salad, so it is math fun.
Math fun?
I was going to say it's math heavy, but that makes it sound hard and thinky. But it is point salad. I think Stefan Feld needs to have this in his game collection. It's a game where you are collecting vegetables or you're choosing point cards, and you're going to have a lot of point cards and you're going to have a lot of vegetables, and your vegetables can score over multiple point cards, and multiple point cards can score multiple vegetables.
Can you just not get vegetables that are gross, like cabbage?
You could choose not to get vegetables.
I have a feeling like I wouldn't score very well in this game.
Well, there's scoring cards that say, do you have the fewest cabbage, I believe.
Absolutely.
You don't want cabbage. So, or there's negative, like you get -3 points for every cabbage you have.
Okay, so are you, so you're basically choosing these cards both to score from and to determine how you're scoring?
Well, no. So the way the game is kind of set up, there's going to be like some rows, couple rows here of cards, and then there's going to be some point cards above them. There's actually only one here. This is not how you set it up. But I can choose to take a point card.
Okay.
And now I have a point card.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Okay.
Or I can choose to take 2 vegetables.
Okay.
Once I take them as vegetables, they will always be vegetables.
Okay.
When I take something as a point card, I can later, as a non-action, choose to take it for its vegetable.
Okay.
Which is especially good if I took my -2 cabbage card, because I hate cabbages.
Cabbages are gross.
But then later ended up with a bunch of cabbages.
That's an unfortunate
I could be like, oh, excellent, I will just add more cabbages, but then I don't get negative
points. That is
points.
never a true statement. But, so when you take one of the scoring ones, do they end up getting replaced?
Yes,
Okay.
so there's the piles will be here.
Okay.
And the vegetable cards are turned over in rows of just single cards out on the table.
Okay.
And you take your vegetables, you take the points, it's going to go around in a circle. You're going to collect lots of vegetables, lots of point cards. Once all the cards are gone, you score up.
Is there any salad dressing cards?
Not in this version.
I feel like this salad is incomplete.
Variants. But we are pretty excited about this game at Blue Highway. The design team, the Flat Out Games with Sean, Molly, and Rob, they are big fans of Blue Highway, so we're big fans of them. They did some play testing at the store, and we were very excited to see that AEG partnered with them to pick this up, because we think it's a fantastic
Well, it seems very tongue-in-cheek concept, but it's not a jokey design.
Nope. It's a fantastic little quick card game, but there's lots of different ways to score and things you have to look out for, and we played it twice over lunch repeatedly this week, and just get 2 games in a half hour.
Cool, cool.
So, yeah, it's great.
So who would you recommend this for? So fast game, but it does sound like there's a lot of strategy in figuring out what point cards and what vegetable combinations you want to take.
I think this can sit very well on a shelf next to Sushi Go, Cat Lady.
Okay, so actually
AEG.
fairly accessible.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I think, but Cat Lady and Sushi Go are great because they're kid, family, and gamer games. Like, they just have such a broad appeal. We get everyone coming in to play them and buy them. And I think this is the same. I think families are going to get a kick out of this, birthday presents, but then also with my game group, we're going to bust that out and play.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great. And so again, all of those are next weekend.
Yep.
The 3 in the front are part of AEG's Big Game Night.
Correct.
And all of these are out now.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that is about it. I think they were asking who the designer of Point Salad was. I think you mentioned them briefly.
Yeah, Sean Sankwich, Molly Johnson, and Robert Melvin.
Okay.
And it's Point Salad. Flat Out Games, which is the design team that they have, and their upcoming game is Calico. Kevin Russ, I think, is the designer on that one.
I think Emma had that on her list of games to check out for Gen Con.
Right, because it's cats and quilts, and that will be demoing
the
at
sewing
Gen
of the
Con.
cats together.
Yeah, right. Cat hides. No. Cute cats sleeping on quilts.
Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank
Is
you.
there anything else that you wanted to say about Blue Highway Games?
No, but I hope you can stop by and see us up on Queen Anne. We are been around for 12 years and have used games, new games, places to play games.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Great. Well, so if you're in town, if you're at the Space Needle, because the Space Needle is quite a fun place to go visit, swing by Blue Highway Games and try out a game.
Yeah, thank
you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you to Blue Highway for lending you out. Hopefully you'll join us again in the future.
Sounds good.
And thanks to everybody for watching and sticking along with us. Let us know what games from Gen Con you pick up, maybe. If you're going to go to Pop-Up Gen Con, or if you're going to go to AEG Big Game Night, let us know how it works out for you. Thank you very much, and we will see you in 2 weeks for a new release rundown. Bye-bye.